Rural Ohio is a place where livestock enjoys silence, where horse and buggy is not uncommonly seen on streets, and where neighbors help each other out. But when the race cars come to town, focus shifts, and fans come out in droves to cheer on the heroes of the future as they do battle on the track. This is the IMSA Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge by Yokohama. And this weekend, we're in Lexington, Ohio, as the series makes a return to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Hi everyone, I'm Shay Adam, and along with Jeremy Shaw, we'll take you through round 6 of this championship. It's nice weather today, believe it or not, about 61 degrees and mostly cloudy, but no chance of rain, thankfully. These drivers have already had to contend with that in the practice sessions leading up to race number 2, which is about to get underway here shortly. There are 2 classes of cars out there. Platinum with the black mirrors and black number panels are the Generation 2 cars, and the Gold class with the yellow mirrors and yellow number panels ranging from 2014 to 2016. Looks like everyone is starting to roll off the grid, no cars being stuck, and everybody is going to get underway with their pace lap, just one. So while they're doing that, let's find out a little bit more about this track. Equal distant from Cleveland or Columbus, Mid-Ohio is near the foot of Lake Erie, 2¼ miles in length with 13 turns, the most notable of which are the Keyhole Turn 2, Turn 4, which is at the end of the back straight, and the Carousel, which is just before the finish line. Race 1 of the weekend was interesting. Anthony Imperato, for the first time in his career, led the field to the green flag. Everybody made it through safely. Mike Levitas, though, a bit further on, went for a spin, but didn't hit anyone and recovered on his own without getting stuck. Will Hardiman also had a lurid spin at the keyhole, but then did get stuck in the gravel and needed some assistance to get back out. Trenton Estep was relentless in his pressure of the leader, Imperato, and finally took his opportunity to go for the lead with about a third of the race, and he never looked back. Estep won the Platinum category ahead of David Kolkman, and Anthony Imperato, the pole sitter, ultimately came home third. In the Gold class, it was Victor Gomez who won another race. He was ahead of Rob Farrell and Kurt Fazekas. Can those 2 drivers repeat today, getting wins in their categories? Or will we have our 5th different winner in 6 races in the Platinum category? There's only one way to find out. Stay with us. The green flag is coming up in a couple of minutes' time. We're about to get underway for round 6 of the IMSA Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge by Yokohama. The pace car is leading the field on their formation lap, and Trenton Estep, yesterday's winner, is our pole sitter. He is in the gold and black Hertz number 3, and will start alongside of David Kolkman, the young German for Park Place Motorsport, in the number 71. Row 2 is yesterday's poleman, Anthony Imperato, alongside Roman DeAngelis in the 1. Will Hardiman and Maxwell Root start 5th and 6th, respectively. Our Platinum Masters class pole goes to Mike Levitas in the 36, so is David Baker for company. It's Victor Gomez the 4th on pole for gold, starting 9th overall. Rows 6 and 7 will be fun, with Fred Pordad, Alan Metney, Mark Lame, and Charlie Luck all fighting it out for podium spots. What an interesting race we have in store today, Jeremy, because yesterday they started on the tires that they had qualified on the day before. Today, sticker Yokohamas for the entire field. So it's really going to be about tire management over the course of this 45-minute contest. but they get to go super fast.
Yeah, and it is pretty cool this morning still. It's temperatures in the sort of high 50s or so, so it is going to take several laps to get these tires up to optimum working temperatures.
The safety car has pulled into the pit lane as they begin to form up 2 by 2. The start has technically happened. 44 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock as they cross the finish line, but the start line is still a couple of turns away, a distinct feature of Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We have started the race, but we haven't gone racing just yet. They will have to form up as the first 3 rows have already done. A bit further back for the Platinum Masters category, they have yet to get fully into their formation. Great effort yesterday by Mike Levitas to put in a fast enough lap in the race to qualify him 7th overall and on the Masters pole. And again, we're going to have to watch Victor Gomez because he qualified his Gold Cup car about 7 cars ahead of the rest of the Gold competition. They are now in their formation, a clean track ahead of them. No marbles off the racing line because the track was cleaned off yesterday after all of that track running we had, and we are ready to get racing for round 6 of the championship. 2 by 2, they come to the green flag. Kurt Fizika's peeking out a little bit early, trying to see what lies ahead, but it is Trenton Estep in the number 3 who sees the green flag and goes at his leisure. It is Tanny throwing the green flag out on the back stretch, and Estep with a good start, but Kolkman in that number 71 is sticking with him, as is Anthony Imparato, the pole sitter from yesterday's race, but Kolkman going for the move around the outside through 4. Can he make it stick? He does. Estep still there on the outside, though, will have the advantage for the cutback. Kolkman's not giving up, though, on his attack for the lead. They're still side by side. Jeremy, this has been 5 corners that they've been side by side, and now Kolkman surges into first place.
Excellent racing amongst those top 2 at the front of the field. They each had respect for one another. They gave each other just enough room. And David Kolkman there from Germany, using all his Carrera Cup experience from the last couple of years. He's already a race winner in North America this year. That came last time out at Barber Motorsports Park, and that was a great move. Exactly what happened at Barber. He took the lead on the first lap from Trenton Estep. He leads this race.
Lap 1 goes to David Kolkman, and that man knows how to start a Porsche race. Clearly, as you mentioned, his experience coming in Europe, he understands you must make hay while the sun shines, and in this case, when all the cars are grouped together in that first lap, that is the best opportunity to take advantage of going for the lead. It was also a good start by Anthony Imparato, who managed to hold on to that 3rd place position. Yesterday's pole sitter led most of the race while sustaining great, immense pressure from Trenton Estep in the number 3, the black and gold Hertz car. Hertz, again, finds himself 2nd position. It didn't take but one move for Trenton Estep yesterday, though, to take him into the lead and get his 2nd win of the season. He understands that there are still 42 minutes to go in this one. He's going to have another opportunity at the lead, and he's not letting Kolkman go, as there's a move by DeAngelis for 3rd position, takes it away from Anthony Imparato. Good move from the young Canadian.
Yeah, that was a great move down on the inside there at the end of the S's, and up into 3rd place now is Roman DeAndres. Again, he is also a race winner this season. We had 4 different winners in the first 4 rounds of the championship this season, but that record was broken yesterday. It might have been extended yesterday because Anthony Imparato in car number 91 currently running in the 4th position for Wright Motorsports, the Batavia, Ohio-based team, but he led most of the race before slipping back to 3rd, but it's that great move by DeAndres up into 3rd place, and it's taken Imparato just a lap or 2 perhaps to build some temperature into those tires, a bit more time than some of these other contenders. But will that be a benefit later in the race? It could be.
Oh no, David Baker into the pit lane. He started 2nd in the Masters Cup category in the number 56. Well, Jeremy, if history is going to repeat itself with Estep winning the 1st round, the 2nd round of the championship went to Will Hardiman in the blue, white and black number 19 Porsche of Moorespeed, and he is currently putting pressure on Anthony Imparato in that number 19 Wright Motorsport car ahead of him. So we'll have to watch 19 and 91. That is going to be a battle. Baker stopped in his pit box and now resumes. Not quite sure what the issue was there for the number 56, but this is going to make a long day for David Baker if we don't get a safety car.
Yes, exactly right. The guy on the move at the start there was Mark Kavami in car number 43 from Columbus, Ohio, driving for JDX Racing. He qualified on the Masters pole yesterday for the first time, and a really good run. Ended up third in the Masters category yesterday afternoon. He's made a great start to jump from 13th on the grid, now up into 8th position in car number 43.
Will Hardiman got a bit wide around the backside of the course, and Maxwell Root in the number 7 Wright Motorsport car had an opportunity, saw potential to go for a move, and is now attached to the back bumper of the number 19. So we are going to have a pass here going into turn 1. Well, maybe not. Now he's a little bit further back, but Root wants 5th position, and he is looking in turn 1. Almost contact as they go through, but no, Root backed out of it. He's not done yet, though. He should have a good run coming into the keyhole, but it is David Kolkman leading the way ahead of Trenton Estep, Roman DeAngelis in 3rd, then Imperato, Hardiman, and Root. Black number panel for Charlie, gold number panel for Victor, and it is gold headlights for the number 25, while white headlights for the 45. That lets you know if it's gold, it is a Gold Cup car. Pretty simple to remember. David Kolkman with now a half a second advantage over Trenton Estep as they cross the finish line. And the last time around, it was the fastest lap for Kolkman. Well, he improved upon that again. We are seeing lap times around 125.1. Very impressive speeds out of these new generation Porsches.
Yeah, it certainly is, and all sorts of battling all the way up and down the field here. And very closely matched at the front, certainly. All the way back too. There's some good battles there. Victor Gomez, the 4th, is dropping back a little bit now. He's back to 10th place position now, having lost that place to Charlie Luck, but still well in command of the Gold Cup cars. Kurt Fazekas in 2nd place in car number 52, just ahead of Greg Palmer in car number 44. Greg Palmer has made good strides in recent events.
That's always good to see. We should mention, it is sort of admirable that Victor Gomez was able to qualify where he was. His cars from 2016, for example, the pass that we just saw Charlie Luck making on Victor Gomez, Charlie Luck's car is brand new, 2018. So more horsepower, and you consider how well Victor Gomez qualified for this race. It is a true testament of talent of what that young man from Puerto Rico has. David Kolkman pulling out ever so slightly. He's edging a 10th here and a 10th there. He now has 0.6 of a second advantage over Trenton Estep. That can disappear in the blink of an eye, but now Estep falling back a little bit into the clutches of Roman DeAngelis. And I don't even want to say falling back because it's not anything that Estep is doing wrong. It's just DeAngelis doing as Roman does. He is pulling his way up toward the front of the field, and a podium yesterday wasn't good enough for Roman. He is running not only in the US version of this championship, but the Canadian version as well, and he wants to win both of them this season.
It certainly does, and once again at the front of the field, a new fastest lap there for David Kolkman, really doing a nice job every lap, just a little bit quicker than the rest of him. He still doesn't have a full second in hand over Trenton Estep. Well, he might now at the end of that first section. No, actually, he still doesn't. So Trenton Estep is certainly sticking right with him, but each of the laps just fractionally quicker is David Kolkman. But we talked about it already, it is still fairly cool out there, and tire pressures are very critical on these cars. As the race goes along, the ambient temperature is building just a little bit. It's cloudy, so it's not building particularly fast, but certainly the tires pick up pressure, they pick up temperature as well, and sometimes the balance of the car can change as the stint goes along. So it's important to have the car working well at the end of the stint. What was really interesting about yesterday's race was we saw fastest laps being traded amongst literally the top 6,
yes,
pretty much all the way through the race. We'll see whether that happens as this race progresses.
Charlie Luck got around the 43 of Mark Vame after passing Victor Gomez the 4th in that number 25 machine, and now the one Gulf livery car, one almost Gulf livery car, are together on the track. But Charlie Luck has been unable to fully pull away from Mark Vame. Mark was so good through the practice sessions here this weekend leading up to race number 1. And then, as you mentioned, Jeremy, it was surprising to not see him leading the way throughout that race. But now he's looking back at a 3rd place finish right now. The battle back on, though, for Anthony Imperato. Will Hardiman caught back up after going a little bit wide and scrubbing off some momentum earlier on. He has caught back up to the back of the right machine Porsche and takes a look, decides, no, I'm not quite there, going into turn 4. And yeah, there's a couple cars lengths between the two of them now, but they will get right back together as the course of the lap progresses.
And talking of Charlie Luck in car number 45, currently now 2nd in the Masters, trying to chase down Michael Levitas if he can, but it's been a really good start to the race for Charlie. He started in the 14th position, already up now into 8th position, having got past Mark Vame on that last lap. We'll see now whether he can close the gap to Mike Levitas after that poor qualifying run.
Well, in 3 races so far this year, has Charlie Luck looking to improve upon that? We've only had 5 races in the championship, should mention that as well. This is race number 6 of the year, and a much bigger gap for Kolkman over Estep as he crossed the line.
Much less of a gap, because for the 2nd lap in a row, Trenton Estep has set the fastest lap of the race. It's a lot closer now than it was, yes.
It is. It sounded like a much bigger gap because, of course, I was hearing the 71 and the 3 go by together.
Indeed.
And then Roman DeAngelis. So thank you, Jeremy. Yeah. It's 1.7 seconds back from the leading duo to Roman DeAngelis. So Roman losing a bit of time on that lap, but you are absolutely spot on, Jeremy. Estep has put the pedal down.
I am the trusty co-pilot. The moving part that moves all 2,000 parts. I am the translator who interprets the road, the permission to take the scenic route, and the guide that gets you there safely. I'm not just any tire. I am a Yokohama.
The all-new IMSA app, whether at home or trackside. Get behind the scenes with team and driver access all the time. It's the ultimate in fan experience. Choose your favorite manufacturer and strap in for the ride. With live scoring data, radio commentary, and session results in real time, it's just like you're there in Winner's Circle. The all-new IMSA app. Download it today.
David Kolkman, who is leading the way after 8 laps of round 6. Trenton Estep half a second back now as they cross the line that time. Roman DeAngelis, he caught a little bit more back up over the course of that lap. He did personal best sectors 2 and 3. Anthony Imperato, who is still in fourth, fighting off Will Hardiman, only half a second further back. And then is Maxwell Root running in car number 7 in the 6th position, 0.8 of a second behind Will Hardiman. Mike Levitas, our Platinum Masters leader, is a further 10 seconds back off of that leading sextet. And then Charlie Luck and Mark Fame still together on track, and Victor Gomez right with them. He is our GT3 Gold Cup leader. Kurt Fazekas is up to second in GT3 Cup Gold. Glad to see Kurt back out and running. He is one of our perennial favorites, always runs different color wheels on his cars. That's always fun to see. And as you rightly mentioned, Jeremy, Greg Palmer in third. Good to see the 44 running so far up.
Yeah, he is. He's really picked it up the last few races in that number 44 car. Has Greg Palmer driving for the Kelly Moss Road and Race team. So a lot of experience within that camp, obviously a lot of fast cars, teammates within from which to learn as well. But this race is really interesting. Just seen Will Hardiman set the best first sector time of anybody during this race. Right ahead of him, however, Anthony Imperato just set the purple sector time in sector 2. So this race a long way from being decided.
There's no need to really conserve your tires at this point in the race, Jeremy. I mean, you don't want to push qualifying laps every single time across, because then you would be a sitting duck, at least more so if the person behind you had saved. But we're not seeing any form of lessening of effort from the 71 or the 3, the 2 cars that are out front right now. And in terms of our Masters class, well, Charlie Luck, oh no, Anthony Imperato's gone off. And he's beached it, and he is stuck. No traction whatsoever from the rear tires. Now, where is that? That's at the keyhole. Will that lead to a full course caution? Well, that would be a blessing in disguise. And now the yellows are out. David Baker is very happy to see that. That will let him catch back up to the back of the field. And for our leading sextet, as they were, now it is only 5 of them, because Anthony Imperato taking himself out of that battle. Will Hardiman will be promoted to 4th place, and Maxwell Root to 5th. Ooh, we caught the back of it. It didn't look like there was anybody in the zip code of Imperato.
I wouldn't have thought so. I mean, he wasn't far ahead of the number 19 and number 7 car, but far enough, I think, that I don't believe there would have been any contact between the two of them. I think probably Anthony just left his braking just a fraction too late. I mean, he was on a charge. He just, as I just mentioned, he'd gone purple in sector 2, a personal best in sector 3, and in fact his fastest lap on our race, it was a new fastest lap on that last time around by our race leader David Kolkman on a 1 minute 24.44, and on that same lap Anthony Imperato turned almost an identical lap, just 2,000 slower at a 24.444. So that's how hard Imperato was pushing, and I think perhaps he just overstepped the limit a little bit in turn 2, and as close to the as much on the edge as these cars are, that was enough to send him off into the gravel. It's going to be the end of his race, and that's bad news for his championship challenge as well, of course, because in this series, with 35 points for the winner, you can potentially lose a whole chunk of points here by not finishing up towards the front.
Absolutely. While we're under safety car, this is a good reminder to let everybody know, go out to your favorite app store, whether you have an Android or Apple device, download the IMSA app. It's got an all-new update to it, a nice pretty logo, as you were very kindly describing to John on the radio the other day. Works very well, by the way, that picture. It is wonderful. If you don't have it already, why not? It's free. Might ask you for a little bit of information, ask you who your favorite manufacturer is, stuff like that, but it is excellent, especially if you're sitting trackside. You can listen to us on IMSA radio. You can watch video feed for qualifying for the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge for this race right now, as we see some people out there sharing the video screen, passing it around. Excellent. Thank you very much. green flag with just under 25 minutes remaining in this 6th round of the championship. David Kolkman with a good restart, but Trenton Estep not giving any quarter, not letting his competitor run off into the distance, as Kolkman and Estep separated by under 0.3 of a second as they came back to the green. And Estep gets a little bit squirrely under the braking in the number 3, but manages to get it woed up before running into the back of the number 71. Good call there, Trenton. And it is Roman DeAngelis still in 3rd, a bit further back than this leading duo, but not a reason for concern. I think maybe Roman's just letting this bleed play out as Estep has a look down the inside of Kolkman going into turn 4. Not quite there, but he will be there for the over-under. If he decides to hang it out, he doesn't, falls back into line as they come through madness.
Yeah, David Kolkman there being pretty defensive, and Trenton Estep deciding discretion, the better part of valor. He was certainly in position there to be able to make a lunge down the inside at turn 4, but you know that turn 4 is pretty quick at the end of the straight. It's a lot faster than it looks, and if you go in on a tight line, it's very easy to run off at the exit and or make contact with your competitor. Well, the last thing that Trenton Estep needs to do is make contact with Kolkman and cause him to have a problem and then get a penalty and fall back through the field. He's already had that once this season. As I said, he came back to finish 6th at Barber, which was a good comeback drive.
Yes.
But he wants to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes like that. So if he's going to go for a pass, it's got to be clean.
He came back from 6th at Barber on a green racetrack, Jeremy. That's even more impressive. There wasn't a caution to help him catch back up to the rest of the competition. So we know that Estep is capable of that sort of racing. Roman DeAngelis now dealing with Will Hardiman all over his bumper, and Hardiman has Maxwell Root filling up his mirrors in the number 7. So the battle for 3rd very much alive, as well as that battle for 1st. The top 5 grouped together by, well, almost nothing. Between all of them, it is under 2 seconds the last time they crossed the start-finish line. And looming in their mirrors is Mike Levitas, our GT3 Platinum Masters leader, who just went through Sector 1 the fastest that he has done so far this race. Maybe seeing those platinum normal kids, young kids cars was sort of giving Mike a bit of inspiration.
Absolutely right, and Mike's been doing this a long, long time in that car. 36, he's from Baltimore, Maryland. This is his 70th start in the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama, so plenty of experience. A former Gold Cup champion a couple of times, and he's won a lot of races. He's won 14 races in all in the Gold Cup. He's won 1 Masters class victory to his name as well, and looking to get another one here this weekend.
Guy who's very capable behind the wheel of a Porsche, that's for sure. Victor Gomez, 3.3 seconds ahead of Kurt Fazekas, although there are still 4 cars separating those 2 Gold Cup category contenders. David Kolkman with half a second now over Trenton Estep, so Trenton backing off ever so slightly. No, he's not backing off at all. He's not giving it up as Trenton Estep in that silver and gold Porsche, chasing down the black, gray, and red Park Place Porsche in the lead. Roman DeAngelis in 3rd, though, Jeremy. I'm not content with thinking that he's going to settle in for that 3rd place points podium. He's going to want to have a shot at this overall lead.
He is, but he doesn't seem to have quite the pace of these other 2. They've edged away just a little bit once again. They had it in the first part of the race as well, not by very much certainly, but they've put a few Porsche lengths between themselves, the 2 leaders, and the 3rd place car of Roman DeAngelis, and that is what they would like to do, is extend that advantage so that they know Roman's a championship contender, and they want to make sure they can stay out in front of him.
Well, as long as they can not battle with one another. Oh, great picture of the 71 coming across on the backside of the course, getting slightly airborne. The left front Yokohama will have slightly less wear on it than the rest of the other 3, as it was spending a bit more time off of the actual tarmac. But as long as the 71 and the 3 manage to keep going this line astern and not go side to side, they won't slow each other down and allow DeAngelis back into the fray. As soon as Estep makes a move for the lead, if he doesn't get it done immediately, if he stays and slows both himself and Kolkman down, we would have a 5-way battle for the lead.
Yep, and that's pretty much what we had yesterday as well. The top 5 contenders, or the top 6, if Anthony and Pride had been among them.
Yeah.
Really, really closely matched. And you know, this is where they get that little bit of air sometimes, and an excellent section through the kind of S's here. These cars have plenty of grunt, and they come light over that crest there, and sometimes there's pictures of these cars with both front wheels off the ground. It's pretty spectacular. I mean, that's one of the great things about the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. For photographers, it's one of the best tracks in the country.
It's excellent. And, you know, coming off of Barber Motorsport Park, where people often,
another good place.
People often refer to it as a roller coaster because it does feel like a ride. There's so much up and down. There's so much undulation of the track that it does make your stomach get light over certain parts of the track. Well, I would argue that Mid-Ohio, out the part that is furthest away from where you and I currently sit, Jeremy, or stand, where the booth is, it is more of a roller coaster than Barber because it is so much up and down, but it's in so much smaller of a track. Only 2.238 miles is Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. As Estep has a look down the inside of Kolkman going into the keyhole, decides he's too far back, but he pushed Kolkman out wide with that maneuver. Just David was distracted slightly, looking in his mirror as he missed the second half of the apex of turn 2. Regained it though, but Estep is going to have one heck of a run coming into turn 4. Oh boy, his rear wing is shaking, vibrating under braking as Trenton Estep as he is on the ragged edge of adhesion, a wiggle going into turn 5, and Kolkman still with the lead, but Estep is getting impatient. Victor Gomez continues to lead in the GT3 Cup Gold category. We haven't been talking much about him because Victor is so far ahead of all of his competition. He is up amongst the GT3 Cup Platinum Masters class and Mark Vame. It seems that those two cars that have a blue and orange basic livery, I say that because for Victor Gomez, his is really more of a seafoam green and a bright orange, whereas Mark Vame's is blue and more of a subtle orange color, the traditional golf that you would expect to see. But he's running around, not really worrying about who's behind him. Well, who is behind him? The number 20 of Fred Pordad is fighting off Alan Metney in the number 99.
Yeah, and Alan Metney had a great run yesterday. Fred did a career best finish in this series, and he's looking for he's not quite in position again today, but for a guy just in his second year of racing, Alan Metney has really made tremendous strides. Now just, I would say, just into his second year.
That was a competition for 5th in the Platinum Masters class, and you would have thought it was for the final step of the podium, the way those two were going back and forth. Well, Trenton Estep, after backing off slightly because he didn't want to run into the back of David Kolkman again and give him an added advantage, set the fastest lap time we have seen in this race, a 1:24.394 without doing a personal best in any of the sectors. Very, very impressive. Rob Farrell is having a look down the inside of Greg Palmer into one, and oh, he makes it stick. I got nervous there for a second. I thought that was going to end in tears for two of our Gold Cup contenders. That was for 3rd place. Yes, it was 3rd place in the class, as Anthony Imperato is right behind those two. Has to go wide around the outside of the keyhole to try and give them a bit of space. Imperato on a comeback drive. Right now he is down quite a bit in the field. He's currently last, the last car running, because he is off the lead lap.
Yeah, that's right. He's a lap behind everybody else. So even though he's making up some positions, passing some guys to the back of the field, he's still a whole lap behind everybody else. So he's, unless anything else happens, that's where he's going to remain. But he can still have some fun out there and learn. this is his certainly his first time racing these cars at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. So the more experience you can get here, the more it'll pay off in the long run.
Yeah, not just gonna park it, especially if you have a Porsche to go play around a racetrack. I am so envious of all of these guys out there on track right now, because you know that they might have the serious look on their face, but their hearts are smiling. That is what happens. Every time you get to drive a Porsche, you can't help but get that little bit of a hint of a grin on your face. I know I'm certainly guilty of it. David Kolkman leads with just under 15 minutes to go in round 6 of the championship. He is ahead of Trenton Estep by a whole half a second. Roman DeAngelis in third in the #1 car, the car that won the championship last year. It wasn't Roman driving it, it was Jake Edson, but it is the same Porsche. And then in fourth, Will Hardiman in that number 19, continuing to light up the timing screen as he goes overall best in Sector 1 again. He really has that Sector 1 nailed, Jeremy.
He does, doesn't he? And it was kind of the same yesterday. His car came on strong in the latter stages of the race, but that's all very well and good, but he's back in fourth position, and he's still got more than a second now to make up on Roman DeAngelis, who's in third. And he's about a similar margin behind the 2 leaders, so relatively speaking, Roman DeAngelis is kind of on his own there in the third position. His first 2 cars still separated, maybe 5, 6, 7, or 8 car lengths.
Well, if that. They're fairly close. They're almost like they're attached by a bungee cord, Jeremy, because at some points they're separated by a half a Porsche length, and at other times it's maybe 10 Porsche lengths. So really is being quite fluid. But the timing screen, again, going the way of Trenton Estep, who again bests the fast lap time that we have seen. Very impressive drive from Estep. It's feeling like it did yesterday, where he sort of kept applying the pressure for sure, but he waited until the right moment to make the move instead of trying to force a move that perhaps isn't there. It's very mature driving from the youngster from San Antonio, Texas. David Kolkman, who's happy to stay out in front though and lead in that clean air. No lap traffic for any of our drivers so far. Again, the caution probably helped with that aspect, but it's been a different race than we've seen from yesterday, Jeremy, and it's been different in a good way, I would say. It's certainly been pretty clean, apart from that spin for Anthony Imperato. These front 2 certainly very, very closely matched, and Trenton Estep, he's certainly got a fast car there in second place, but I love the consistency that David Kolkman is showing out in front. He just set his personal best lap time on the last lap around. Yes, Trenton was a little bit quicker, but the last few laps with David Kolkman have been super consistent. 24.6, 24.4, 24.4, 24.5, 24.4. This time around, it's another 24.4. So it's that consistency that's going to win you races. He is in the proverbial zone, yeah. I would say.
I am the trusty co-pilot. The moving part that moves all 2,000 parts. I am the translator who interprets the road, the permission to take the scenic route, and the guide that gets you there safely. I'm not just any tire. I am a Yokohama.
The all-new IMSA app, whether at home or trackside. Get behind the scenes with team and driver access all the time. It's the ultimate in fan experience. Choose your favorite manufacturer and strap in for the ride. With live scoring data, radio commentary, and session results in real time, it's just like you're there in Winner's Circle. The all-new IMSA app. Download it today.
Under 11 minutes to go in round 6, and our leaders are David Kolkman in the 71, narrowly ahead of Trenton Estep, and Victor Gomez the 4th in gold, running a pretty lonely race. Well, at least in terms of cars in his own class. Victor Gomez applying a good deal of pressure to Mark Fame in the number 43, so the two, as Alan Metney goes for a spin.
I was just congratulating yesterday, Alan, yesterday evening on the fact he didn't make any mistakes. He just made one there again, and he was proud of himself yesterday, as he should have been, because it was a really good drive. He was under pressure most of the way, and he was content to give up one position to Jeff Boss towards the latter stages of yesterday's race, but he brought it home. And he's a guy. He's very intense, very ambitious. He's a former member of the U.S. national skydiving team, is Alan Metney.
That makes sense.
And that's why he began that iFly business that has become very, very successful. So he's intense. He's a competitor, and he wants to get the most out of himself. So he pushes himself to the limit. Occasionally, he oversteps it. He looks like he did again there. Yesterday, though, a really, really good run. As I say earlier on, for somebody in just their second season of racing, that is super impressive.
Kurt Vizikis sporting the purple wheels today for the race, is matching his purple and green lean machine, the number 52, and he is running in 2nd in the GT3 Cup Gold category. It is David Kolkman still ahead of Trenton Estep, the lead up to 0.5 of a second the last time around, and what is it now, 0.6. So a slight gap developing. And it is almost 2.5 seconds back to Roman DeAngelis. So Roman is falling away from these lead two. They have done exactly what they needed to, of course, to ensure that they will finish in 1st and 2nd. They've not battled with each other and left the fighting a little bit further back for now, as Kolkman drops a couple of wheels off the driver's left coming out of the keyhole. Doesn't appear to slow him down at all, though, as they go through a little bit of the kink at turn 3 and set up for turn 4. This is their 23rd lap of competition with 8.5 minutes to go. The trap speeds have been fairly consistent, Jeremy, with Will Hardiman in the number 19, the fastest Porsche through. So he must have a little bit less rear wing dialed into his Porsche than the competitors do. That's gutsy for the long straights that are around Mid-Ohio, but for the twisty bits, as John Hindhaugh likes to call them, his car would be a slightly less better performance.
That's right, but the best pace to make a pass around here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course is the end of the straight at turn 4. So if you've got the straight line speed, you've got a chance to do that.
Drama for Maxwell Root in the number 7, as he is slow coming into turn 10. No, even before that, in his right Porsche. And the number 7 still not back up to full speed.
No, he'd been edging. He'd been sort of falling away from the tail end of the car number 19 before that.
Ooh, all on his own. He got a big wiggle. Looks like he was coming out of 8 almost. And just tried to catch it, dropped his left-hand Yokohamas off the circuit. And when he got the car back on, went for a quick spin, managed to recover. There was no one around him, though, so it was no one else at fault. And it's one of those, did anyone see that? No? Okay, good. I'm going to keep going now. I think Maxwell would be happy if we didn't show that video replay, Jeremy. But all good. He managed to continue on. And Victor Gomez still right with Mark Fame, but now under pressure from Jeff Boss in the number 12 Porsche. Jeremy, I think we have the biggest gap for the lead that we've had all race. It's been 3/4 of a second between first and second. So it's still not a 1 in the first number of the interval, but at least David Kolkman in the 71 has a bit of a gap as this battle for what is the 8th place. Oh, and there's a spinner, Eduardo de Leon in the number 22, loops it exactly where Maxwell Root did the lap before. Jeffrey Boss finally getting around Victor Gomez, though. That is for the 9th position on the track. Not for position in class, but for overall. So that we'll have to see how far up Jeffrey Boss can get. Now he sets his sights on Mark Fame for 8th. So we get another look at the pass. Beautiful execution, just a little bit of a window left open by Victor Gomez going into 2, the keyhole. Jeff Boss making quick work of that.
Yeah, and again, Victor Gomez there, yeah, not being too fussed about that. It's overall position on the road, yes, but not in terms of his Gold Club Championship lead.
And Jeremy, we have an interesting situation coming up. With that spin for the 22 of Eduardo de Leon, he has now dropped back. He is right in front of our leading duo. We are under 5 minutes to go in this race, and David Kolkman now sees somebody ahead of him for the first time in a very, very long time. It could prove to be entertaining. Yeah, it's almost exactly the same spin as Maxwell Root, except this time Eduardo de Leon lost it at the apex instead of the exit. That's where Maxwell Root lost it, but I think that was at turn 10. Didn't manage to collect too many dandelions from running off the track, though. That's the good news. So the 71, David Kolkman, leads the way. He sees that number 22 car ahead of him. He will be calling for blue flags, please. Would you let the car ahead know? Because Kolkman doesn't want to give Estep any quarter, doesn't want to let him have an opportunity at the lead. We saw what happened when Estep gets a window of opportunity to go for a race win yesterday. He takes full advantage of that.
Yeah, indeed. And once again, it's this consistency of David Kolkman, talked about a little while ago, and it's just continuing. The last half dozen laps, 1 minute 24.4, 1 minute 24.2, 124.3, 124.4, 124.4, 124.5. I mean, the last 3 laps all within 3/100ths of a second of each other. That is remarkable consistency. And now, it's the lead, yes, it is finally just over a second from first to second. I mean, but that shows that, yeah, Trenton Estep is doing a darn good job as well, but it's that consistency of David Kolkman just edging out just a few feet at a time, it would appear, over his challenger.
Eduardo de Leon got out of the way of the race leaders, but it looked like he held up Kolkman ever so slightly, was just a bit recalcitrant to move all the way off of the racing line. We'll have to see what impact that had on the leading gap. It looks like it actually helped Kolkman. Visually on the screen, there is a bigger gap now between first and second than there was before they came across the lap traffic, but the timing screen will be a different story. If Estep wants to hold on to second place and settle for those points, that's what he's doing right now. Kolkman will have to make a mistake all on his own because Estep is too far back to try and pressure the German. 2 minutes and 40 seconds. We should get, what, 3 more laps, Jeremy? With where they are on track, given where they'll come by?
They'll finish this lap, there will be 1 more lap, and then the white flag,
yes.
That's right. And interesting battle going on for 3rd position in Gold Cup. Victor Gomez is well clear of Kurt Fazekas in 2nd, and Kurt has a pretty good gap over 3rd, but then Rob Ferriol and Greg Palmer and Bill Smith pretty much nose to, well, absolutely nose to tail for 3rd position.
And the on-track battle of Jeff Boss and Mark Fame has come to fruition for the 8th position overall. No points for class because they are all in 3 different classes. Fame in the Masters, Jeff in the Platinum, and Victor Gomez following behind, but not really letting the front 2 get away. In the Gold Cup class, he is our leader. He is 3 cars clear of Kurt Fazekas in that 2nd, in the number 52, the purple-green machine. And Mike Levitas continues to lead in the Masters class. He has a 2.5 second gap over Charlie Luck in that category. Very strong performance from Levitas. I'm very impressed with his driving this weekend. David Kolkman not letting up at all, though. He's got more than a second gap over 2nd place Estep, and he puts in the best Sector 1 time that he's done all race. Wow. very, very impressed with the Park Place Motorsport driver. Have to say, David Kolkman, when we saw that he was going to be on the entry list for this year, Jeremy, coming over from running Carrera Cup Deutschland for the last 2 years with Project One, a team associated with winning championships, not only in that one, but in Super Cup as well. He felt that maybe this kid had something a little bit special if Hans Brinkkamp had picked him up. Now the white flag waves for David Kolkman in Park Place. 1 more to go, 48 seconds left on the clock. Can Trenton Estep do anything about it? I think it's too little too late. Roman DeAngelis is still in third, 2.6 seconds behind Estep, so now they're starting to stretch out a bit. But for David Kolkman, all he needs to do is keep it on the black stuff, just stay calm and bring it home.
That's right, yeah. And talking about David Kolkman, I mean, yeah, he's been a top 6, 7, 8 guy in the Carrera Cup, but he's certainly learned a lot over the winter. He's taken it very seriously coming over here, and I guess it's fair to say, I mean, there are at least semi-professional drivers in the Carrera Cup in Germany where that's expressly excluded. This is a challenge series so far as Porsche is concerned, so it's for people starting out. So, you know, it was expected certainly he would run up toward the front, but I think for me, he's done even better than perhaps I thought he would. He's certainly taken it seriously. He's got a great attitude. He's 21 years of age from Senftenhorst in Germany, just outside of Münster. And he's certainly done a super job. And in this race in particular, this is just a magnificent drive. I mean, all of his laps virtually within a couple of tenths of a second. That is what exactly you need to do, particularly at this stage in your career. You've got a lot of pressure from a guy behind you who's already won 2 races this season.
Who is known for putting a lot of pressure on the leader, but for David Kolkman, eyes forward and a win in this championship, his second so far out of 6 races. Congratulations to he and the entire Park Place Motorsport team. Trenton Estep brings it home in second, and it is Roman DeAngelis who will finish in third, Will Hardiman 4th, and we wait for Maxwell Root. There he goes to come home in 5th. Now, for a Platinum Masters class, it is Mike Levitas winning for TPC Racing in the number 36 machine. He finishes ahead of Charlie Luck in second. And who's going to be in third? It's going to be Mark Valme coming home, but Victor Gomez the 4th with another win in the Gold Cup category in that 25 machine for NGT Motorsport. Beautiful, beautiful car and a perfect drive by Victor. Pole to checker. He gets another win in the championship. Now we wait for Kurt Fazekas to cross the line in second, and then who's it going to be for third? That is still a little bit of a battle, as it is Rob Farrell who comes home for third in the number 5 machine, but all attention goes to that Park Place Motorsport Porsche, the 71 of David Kolkman.
I am the trusty co-pilot. The moving part that moves all 2,000 parts. I am the translator who interprets the road, the permission to take the scenic route, and the guide that gets you there safely. I'm not just any tire. I am a Yokohama.
The all-new IMSA app, whether at home or trackside. Get behind the scenes with team and driver access all the time. It's the ultimate in fan experience. Choose your favorite manufacturer and strap in for the ride. With live scoring data, radio commentary, and session results in real time, it's just like you're there in Winner's Circle. The all-new IMSA app. Download it today.
round 6 delivered for David Kolkman and the Park Place Motorsports crew. It's David's second race win of the year, but his first on a dry track. Let's hear from the young German about how he feels after that one. I bet it's pretty good.
Yeah, amazing. The second win after Barber, amazing feeling. The car was great. We made another step from yesterday. I was able to pass Trenton around the outside in the first 2 corners. Then we had a close race, and I think in the last couple of minutes I was quite strong and our car was consistent. Yeah. I don't know where I am in the championship, so I will have a look after the weekend, but I think we're getting closer.
Well, David, you're right. You are getting closer, but it was a very good weekend for the young man who finished second in today's race, Trenton Estep. Roman DeAngelis was third, and a bit of redemption for Will Hardiman after the spin yesterday to bring it home fourth. Mike Levitas, also after a spin in race 1, got the Platinum Masters win, but it was Victor Gomez who not only took the gold win, but finished in the top 10. Excellent performance. Are you happy with that drive?
Well, I've been beyond happy with the pace we've been carrying, especially last race and today. I think we were 1 point something from the leader, so that's my goal, and perfect. I'm in the perfect path for the championship. Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, I've been battling with some platinum cars. I tried holding back the Masters, but 1 or 2 they slipped by. But don't worry, we got the win and we're on track.
Victor is on track, the young man from Puerto Rico, with 203 points so far, 19 ahead of Kurt Fazekas, and Rob Farrell in third is only 29 points behind Gomez. For the Platinum class, consistency has been the name of the game so far for Trenton Estep, who leads Roman DeAngelis by 11 points. A solid weekend for David Kolkman moves him up to third, ahead of Will Hardiman and Anthony Imparato after each of them stumbled once this weekend. Up next, we head to Watkins Glen, New York to take on one of the most legendary racetracks in the US of A. That'll be in late June, part of the IMSA Spectacular Weekend. Well, the fans turned out for rounds 5 and 6 of the IMSA Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge by Yokohama, and boy were they rewarded. Clean but hard racing toward the front left mystery as to who would win until the final minutes of each round. I think after this weekend, more of the drivers will be happy with their performances, but there will still be a few wishing we could skip ahead to the next rounds and give them a shot at redemption. The competition is so fierce in this series that one wheel wrong and you'll be at the back of the pack before long. Congrats to David Kolkman. On behalf of Jeremy Shaw and the whole IMSA radio crew, I'm Shay Adam. Bye-bye.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of the International Motorsports Association. We would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.